Good morning, everyone. This is Livestream number 70, Lighting Up the Sky. Here's Corky lighting up the piano. If you know this one, sing along.
I'll give you a hint. I spoke to Jim Schwal for about an hour, just a couple days ago. He's doing good. Completely retired, but he's writing a novel. That's the... Well, I drank so much wine last night, my tonsils were starting to float. Someone must have held my nose and poured it down my throat. Maybe it was a lack of sleep that makes me feel like I'm dying. Or maybe it was just that greasy pizza, but I think it was the wine. Well, I've always been a pacifist. I've been known to run from a fight. I never hit anyone in the head with a 2x4 until last night. Well, maybe my ascendant wasn't properly in my rising sign. Or maybe there was a full moon, but I think it was the wine. Take it, Corky, okay? so careful about where I bedded down. Last night I thought I scored an angel, but I woke up with a circus clown. It might have been love, sweet love, that made me so blind. Or maybe it was just plain old lust, but I think it was the wine. Daddy said that a couple beers is okay, but that wine just ain't no good. It'll make you do the things you shouldn't and forget to do the things you should. Last night I forgot my coat and my car and my keys, and I didn't make it home on time. My baby thinks it's another woman, but I think it was the wine. So you know, when you see the Aurora Borealis, you might just think it was the wine.
That's true.
Story time.
Indeed, it is. Story time.
Story time.
You want to start off the story time
Me?
course?
Okay. Come over to the story time cocoon. So the first part of the story about lighting up the sky is when I was a little boy. It's one of those memories you have etched in your retina. You could actually see the vision. My dad, my uncle, I don't know who else was involved, maybe a couple friends were over. They were trying to build their little barbecue grill that came disassembled from probably Sears. And it had, I think, 3 legs in the grill. And right from the beginning, as a little, I don't know, 5-year-old boy, I could see they were trying to force the legs on this grill on upside down. Dad, Uncle Yale. No one would listen to me. They spent all this time where they're getting frustrated. What? If they're putting them on upside down. And they wouldn't listen. I was traumatized. I could say I almost never got over it. I'm 77. I'm beginning to get over it.
I hope so.
You know that thing when you're looking at something and everyone is there and they're doing it wrong. And you could see, like, clearly they're voting for the wrong. I didn't mean that. You could see clearly they're doing it wrong. So, years later, my dad had a little decal shop on the downtown Chicago, and we lived on the south side. So on the way north, we saw many sights. I remember the U-505 submarine. We could see it day by day, inch by inch, bringing it up out of Lake Michigan. I think they brought it through the St. Lawrence Seaway into the Museum of Science and Industry, and it's still there. And I got to see it, progressing day by day. One of the things I saw one winter was deer walking on Lake Michigan.
On the ice.
They were not Jesus deer. I think they were just normal deer. But I said, Dad, Mom, look, There's deer on Lake Michigan. Oh, silly boy. Slap, slap. No, I see them. They're small, but they would not believe me. That was another one of those trauma-supporting events. The next morning in the newspaper, in the headlines, deer sighted on Lake Michigan, and then it explained they had come over from Mackinac Island because the lake had frozen partially over, and they were trapped in the lake. But that wasn't enough proof for my parents of how much smarter I was than them. One year, my dad took me fishing in northern Wisconsin, and we saw an amazing sight. The Aurora Borealis, like I never saw it again in my life. We looked straight up in the sky, black sky, and there was a black dot in the middle, right above us. And from that black dot came this umbrella of bright colored lights. It was the Aurora Borealis, but it filled the whole sky 360 degrees with one black dot. It was astounding. So we get back to Chicago, and a couple days later, I'm looking out because I want to see the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights. And I'm looking north, nothing. One night. It was a night, thank you, Holly. Oh my God, what would I do without Holly? It's day and night. One night I'm looking up and I see what really looks like the Aurora Borealis. It's not that clear, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Mom, Dad, you gotta come look. It's the Aurora Borealis. No, son, you cannot see the Aurora Borealis from, and my dad's name was Ellis, by the way. I won't say it. So they said, you can't see it from Chicago. It's never been seen from Chicago. But you gotta come look. This is like never happened, and you gotta come. No, more addition to my trauma. They wouldn't come out. Next morning in the newspaper, Aurora Borealis sighted in Chicago. So that's my part of the story. And now Holly's going to tell the main part of the story. Mine was just a lead up. You gonna sit there, Holly?
Sure.
Okay.
So, a few years ago, we were on tour, and we were in northern Wisconsin, up by Lake Superior. And Corky was performing at Lake Superior Big Top. For those of you who have enjoyed going to the Big Top, it's quite wonderful. And our dear friend Michael Stanwood, who plays the auto harp, he was there and he was performing, and the woman who was the director of the Big Top at the time, her name was Carolyn, and she had a beautiful big home right on the shore of Lake Superior, and she had a lovely guest cabin, and she often put artists up in her guest cabin. And of course, Corky and I and our friend Michael Stanwood from Colorado was being put up in this cabin. And so it's like late in the evening. It was like probably actually early morning. It was probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And there was this white flashing light that was coming through the bedroom window. And I grabbed Corky and I shook him and I said, Corky, get up. There is a pervert outside the bedroom window with taking photographs, and he has a flashbulb camera, and he's out around the cabin, and you have to go out there. You have to go out and suss this out. And so Corky reluctantly gets up. I mean, he is awakened out of a dead sleep, just gets up, he's in his underwear, and then I think, oh dear, I didn't want him to go out by himself, so I follow him in my underwear, and I said, oh, you can't go out without arming yourself. Grab something. Of course, we didn't have anything to arm ourselves with. So we went into the kitchen, and Corky grabbed a frying pan, and I reached into the drawer, and I got a rolling pin, and out we crept, and I'm holding on the back of his t-shirt.
Yeah, I
and we're
remember that.
creeping out, slowly looking around, and all of a sudden, we looked up, and the sky was filled with this incredible aurora borealis. It was as though, Corky, you describe it.
Yeah, it was this like amazing, bright, to me, I'm colorblind. So to me, it was a cream white snake straight up over our heads. And it was so intense. It was startling. And it looked like if you were looking at a cup of black coffee and someone took a thick cream and just poured a little in and it would start swirling around. Unbelievable, unbelievable.
So it wasn't actually white. It was a bright, vivid Kelly green with like a tinge of yellow, very otherworldly and science fiction looking. And it was like flashing and swirling. And every time it flashed and swirled, it would snap. It would be like a snap, snap. And the crackle, and the dogs were howling.
But I got to interrupt
and
her.
Birds were chirping, and all the wildlife was going crazy.
I got to interrupt because Holly has been telling the story since that happened, and she'd always say, and it crackled. And you know, maybe I heard it, but I always thought, Holly, don't tell people the aurora borealis crackles, because it must have been something else. Northern lights don't crackle. They don't. And in my mind, all the time, I'd want to stop her in the middle of the story and say, Holly, don't say that. And maybe I have once or twice, and of course she's ignored me. But today, when we're putting the story together, I go to the internet and I go, do northern lights make sound? And the answer was, yes, they do.
Yes, they do make a sound. And they were snapping
and in
snapping
fact, this
and
is
cracking.
what it said. This is what it said.
Okay, go ahead.
The northern lights do make noises that can be heard down on the ground. What the researchers still haven't figured out, they concede, is how the auroral sounds are created. They add that, quote, the recorded unamplified sounds can be similar to crackles or muffled bangs, which last for only a short period of time.
So,
I ate my crow.
Back to
I
your
ate
work.
my crow.
So the dogs were howling, birds were chattering and swirling and chirping, and deer were baying, and all the wildlife, they were just
Going nuts.
Going absolutely crazy. And our friend Michael Stanwood, he was staying in the corner bedroom, and that's where we were standing. So I banged on Michael's window and I said, Michael, get up, come out quick. And he looked out the window and he saw Corky with a frying pan and me with a rolling pin. So apparently he figured he needed to get something too. So he went into the kitchen and he came out with an electric egg beater with a long cord trailing behind in his underwear. So the three of us are standing there, Michael with an egg beater, me with my rolling pin, and Corky with his frying pan. In our underwear, the three of us freezing to death because it's like 35, 38 degrees at night, way up north in the fall, and absolutely so thrilled and astounded with the sights that we saw. Even though we were like shivering uncontrollably, we didn't want to go in because we were looking at this extraordinary sight. It was unbelievable. So we go in with our kitchenware, armed with our kitchenware, and we could hardly sleep. So the next morning, Carolyn in the big house, she was going to
Who's
fix.
Carolyn?
She was the director that I had mentioned before.
Oh, I didn't know
Who's
that. I
who's
wasn't paying
home?
attention.
Who's home? Whose cabin that we were staying in. She was fixing a huge breakfast for us, and we go in and we say, "Oh, Carolyn, you are so lucky. You are so fortunate that you can see this extraordinary sight every night up here." And we described what we saw. The whole sky was filled with lights, and the animals were howling. And then she got very cross, really angry, and
Really?
she said, "Why didn't you wake me up? I've lived here for 35 years, and I've never seen a sight anything near, nothing
Nothing
like
the way you
that,
described.
nothing the way you've described it." And so she was really sore with us, pretty much.
But you know, she can go to the Aurora Borealis Observatory in Norway.
Yes.
And they have some things that are pretty, not quite as amazing, but very close to
Right.
what we
So
saw.
so yes.
Familiar.
So if you go to the website of the Aurora Borealis Observatory in Norway, you will see pretty close to what we saw. And one day I hope that we can go there. But on my Facebook, I have posted also a video from that.
Yeah.
So
Now the thing on the website, again, it's close. In other words, there isn't anything straight overhead. There were a couple things people were looking up, but we were like black sky, and again, I'm colorblind. White right there. Unbelievable.
could
But anyway,
almost
you could
touch
see
it.
something similar, and you'll
but
get an idea.
it was quite extraordinary. So lighting up the sky.
Southwest Coast Blues, guys.
My favorite.
And we'll see you on Zoom.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to go to corkymusic.com/stream. corkymusic.com/stream to pick up our Zoom. That's going to be at noon today.
And also Saturday. Can we remind
Oh,
you?
yes.
Corky, do you want to remind
Yeah.
people?
So Saturday, November 14th at 7:30 p.m., a concert with Randy, Sabine, and I. We spent many weeks putting this together. Randy is absolutely a genius cinematographer, though he's never done it before.
Like us.
And this concert, it's 75-minute concert. It's amazing. Please don't miss it. Just, again, it'll be on corkymusic.com/stream.
The link will be on, right?
Yeah, you could read about it there. But go to Three Lakes Center for the Arts. It's in Three Lakes, Wisconsin. Go to the website, Three Lakes Center for the Arts. And the link will be there. You could drop $1, but they're asking for $25.
These little theaters across the country, they are, they're struggling to survive anyway, and they could really use the help. So we'd really appreciate it if you would.
But this concert,
But it's hilarious. It's wonderful.
don't miss it.
Please don't miss it.
Randy and I didn't do this to leave it in the basement. We wanted everyone to see it. So please spread the word. This is going to be amazing.
We're quite excited about it. It's very, very
Can you
funny.
tell? Can you tell?
Really, really wonderful.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna lay right here on the southwest coast of Lake Michigan, where the skyscraper's swaying and the pigeons are playing on the roof again. I'm selling ice cream bars and may take hours to get rich again. On the streets, on the sidewalks of the southwest coast of Lake Michigan. southwest coast of Lake Michigan. And I ain't gonna leave you alone unless I get the itch again. Because I'm so happy just looking out the window with you, my friend. Watching the cops chase the robbers up the southwest coast of Lake Michigan. Woo! Well, the waves are splashing and the dead fish are flashing on the lake again. And the wind is shifting and the smog is drifting in on Chicagoland. And I'm sitting here, what's the words?
Thinking?
Oh yeah, and I'm sitting here thinking, am I going to have to be here to the very end? Waiting for the palm trees to grow on the southwest coast of Lake Michigan. Ooh, oh. How we doing on time?
Good.
How many minutes? One more time. Uh-oh. We'll see you on Zoom.
How did they get there?
Happy Aurora Borealis season.
And the Zoom is?
QuirkyMusic.com/stream. And the Zoom will be listed there. We'll
right.
try and make it at noon. It looks like we're running a little late though.
And this is the actual kickoff of the Aurora Borealis season. So keep looking up, folks.
We'll see you at 12:05 on
All
the
right.
Zoom.
Take care.